Hey everyone, I'm back once again with another book review, and today I'm actually going to be starting a new series of reviews, and that is, okay, I'm going to be reviewing every book under the Paperbacks from Hell tag from Valancourt Books. And if you don't know what, Paperbacks from Hell is, basically it started with this book right here. It's called, well, Paperbacks from Hell. It just shows off a bunch of books from the 70s and 80s of the horror genre. And yeah, a lot of these were like long forgotten, out of print, and so on and so forth. Books. And this book was actually so successful because I do have to say this book is quite amazing. It's like it just shows so much like beautiful artwork and so much like goes into detail about these books and why they were so special. A lot of them. I mean, a lot of them weren't masterpieces, but they were fun and they were interesting, and unique and everything. Anyways, but yeah, this book was so successful that Valancourt actually started to re-release a lot, like some of these books, for a new generation. And I guess I'll show off here. But yeah, the first book I'm going to be reviewing is The Nest by Gregory A. Douglas. As you can see, has a Paperbacks from Hell tag. So yeah, that's the books I'm going to be reviewing. The books that they re-released with these tags here. Because like, oh, it says here like featured in Paperbacks from Hell by Grady Hendrix. Let's see what I'll say. Oh, and this review is going to be spoiler free, so no worries there. Also, I'm going to be reviewing these books in the order that Valancourt re-released them. So this is the first one they released, and I'm going to do the next, and so on. So it's not like when they originally came out; it's more like when they got re-released by Valancourt. Anyway, so let's just show up the cover here. It's called The Nest, and as you can see, you got a little cockroach. He's not that little, but yeah, you got a cockroach right there. You got these like trees in the background, and you got like a full moon there. But yeah, I love this cover. I think it's like, really nice. It's really pretty. Kind of wish I could have it as a poster on my wall. But yeah, this book was originally published in 1980 by by Zebra. And let's see. But yeah, this edition though, like the Valancourt edition, it was re-released in 2019. And something else too really nice about Valancourt is that when they re-release these books, they had the exact same cover, unless in one case, there's like one of these books, some reason it has a different cover. I really like that. Like they kept a lot of the amazing original artwork. Okay, now I'm getting like way too sidetracked. I should really get on to the actual review. Oh wait, and actually one thing I want to mention. Yeah, if you actually look up the author of this book, as I said, yeah, it's he's listed as Gregory A. Douglas, but his actual name was Eli Cantor. And it says here, he was a man of many talents and interests. He was a businessman, a novelist, playwright, composer, artist, and poet. He studied philosophy at New York University and earned a law degree from Harvard before getting his professional start in the legal department at CBS Television. And that's where he began his writing career as well. So I don't remember where I read this from, but like someone said like, oh, this guy, he was like the most overqualified person to make a book like this. And well, I'm sure you can kind of guess what it is, but yeah, I guess now I'll read the synopsis. It was just an ordinary garbage dump on peaceful Cape Cod. No one ever imagined that conditions were perfect for breeding, that it was a warm womb, fettered, moist, and with food so plentiful that everything creeping, crawling, and slithering could gorge to satiation. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I mean satiation. That's it. Then a change in poison control was made, resulting in an unforeseen mutation. Now the giant mutant cockroaches are ready to leave their nest in search of human flesh. Okay, yeah, I kind of butchered that, trying to say the word satiation. But yeah, there you go. So as you could tell, yeah, the book is about giant mutant killer cockroaches, and it's one of those when nature attacks books. So, as I said, it's gonna be spoiler free, but I will get into some plot stuff. It takes place in an island off of Cape Cod. Um, Basically, there's a bunch of like cockroaches and other animals feasting in on the island's dump, and well, as I said here, due to a change in the poison, some of the creatures, especially the cockroaches, start mutating, and they start changing in many different ways. They start growing in size. Their mandibles, like the thing they chew their food with, they get a lot more bigger and stronger, and also a bunch of other crazy things start changing with them. And I'll leave that for the, I guess, if any of you actually decide to read this book to see. It has a cast of characters. Like, you have Elizabeth, who she's from this island, but then you have her friend Bonnie, who is just visiting because, like, she's going with her friend. You also have Elizabeth's grandfather, Elias, and there's also a guy. His name is I forget his last name, but I know his first name is Amos. Which I thought was kind of funny because I actually have a friend who I call Amos. Anyways, yeah, Amos is the town sheriff, and you also got this guy named Peter. He's a biologist and an expert on, like, pests, especially bugs, and he's like in charge of the town's, like, pest control stuff. Well, yeah, one day, Bonnie, Elizabeth's friend, she's walking Elizabeth's dog. I believe the dog's name was Sharky. Is like, oh, I think they call it something else because but anyway, the dog's name is Sharky. She's walking it, but then, they hear some strange sounds coming from the woods, and then Sharky goes into the wood. Like, he just rushes in there, I guess, to chase after it, because dogs do that sort of thing. And then, by the time Bonnie finds Sharky again, he's not doing so great. Matter of fact, like, his eyeballs are missing, and it seems like he was, brutally just, eaten. So yeah, that kind of starts a series of events. Like, people kind of wonder, like, oh, what the hell did this? And then, well, things start escalating, and then they find out it's because of killer cockroaches. So yeah, that's basically what the plot is. It's pretty simple. Oh, and I guess one thing, like, a lot of these, like, the whole, like, when nature attacks books, is the fact that you got the Peter guy, and you also got another character who's introduced later. They're like the experts on this threat, because a lot of these, like, when nature attacks books, such as like James Herbert the Rats, or Guyan Smith's Night of the Crabs, you get those experts who are trying to figure out a way to resolve this crisis. So again, this book is very similar to the ones I just mentioned. So now I actually get into, I guess that sums up the plot. So now I guess I'll get into the actual some details about the book, like some things that happen. And okay, I guess say it now. But yeah, this book, I'm sure you've already heard, if you know anything about this book, is that it's incredibly graphic and gruesome. Basically, because it goes into great details about how, like, when people are being eaten alive by these cockroaches, because it's it's a very terrible situation. Like, they get covered in these cockroaches, and they're just they're being eaten alive. Because it's described like how they're all like, just like there's like hundreds if not thousands of them all over you, and they're just like they get into every single one of your orifices. Like, they crawl into your nose, your mouth, they eat your eyeballs and then crawl into them, and stuff like that. Really graphic. And it also doesn't matter whether you're a good or a bad person, or if you're like, I guess if you're a human, an animal, or hell, even if you're like a child, like, even children aren't safe from these roaches. And that's something that might turn away some people, because I know some people don't like to read books where children are killed. But yeah, this one has a decent amount of that. And when the children get killed, it doesn't hold back. Like, it's just as gruesome as when the adults get killed. Oh, and something else too about this one is like, it's what makes this book even more gruesome is that when these roaches kill you and eat you, they leave nothing behind. They describe like how, like, they've mutated, in their mandibles, are so powerful they actually, grind your bones into dust and actually eat it. So again, when they're done with you, they leave nothing behind. So yeah, I guess that's all fun, right? I mean, I guess anyone who likes that kind of gory stuff will, enjoy that from this. And I do have to say, in this book, the characters are quite nice. Like, those, except for the ones I guess were made to be unlikable, they're all, they're either all right or some of them I liked. And of course, I guess, well, some of the characters that were just kind of there, because they, just like a lot of these books, they had these characters who are just kind of introduced just so they can be eaten, to raise the body count. Which is not, a negative. I mean, come on, that's what a lot of these books do. That's what a lot of people like me read them for, I suppose. And another thing about this book is that it's written quite poetically, believe it or not, because it says the author of this, he was a poet. I'm not sure if I've already said this point, but yeah, it's written like very, actually, like, quite nicely. And like some parts was just like when they describe like how people are being eaten, is like, it's sort of like poetic. I mean, that's not negative. I would say that's actually kind of like, I was a little taken aback by that, because let's see. Oh, I guess one thing I'll say, I have read this book before when it first came out, but yeah, I kind of forgot about so many things because that was well, over 2 years ago. I just remember like a few parts of it. But yeah, I kind of forgot how poetic this book can get with some of the parts in it. I guess that's kind of it, really, So now I'll just say overall thoughts and like, my ranking. So I would say that, I guess I'll get into my one complaint about the book. But yeah, here. I would say this book is I'll give it a 4.5, if not like on the brink of being a 5 out of 5. And the only reason it's like not a straight 5 out of 5, like 5 out of 5, is because the reasons that other people have said in their reviews for this book is that I feel like this book gets a little too much into the whole scientific stuff about these bugs. I didn't mind that because, actually, matter of fact, I really enjoy the parts where they describe like how these mutated roaches work, and how they changed and how they, how much they changed compared to the normal roaches. But I feel like there's just a few too many parts where they go into like, like when they talk about how certain insects function, like real world insects, and how this whole like man versus nature and the whole survival of the fittest and all this other stuff. I feel like there's just a little too much of that. It didn't like ruin my experience. It just felt like I was reading it. I'm just like, like I didn't mind it at first, but that kind of felt like it happened, a few too many times, and you just kind of like, get to the non preachy or scientific stuff already. So yeah, as I said, this book is, I would say, a 4.5 out of 5. It would be a 5 if it had a little less of the scientific stuff. But again, maybe someone else would like all the sciencey stuff. But for me, I guess just like I feel like it kind of it was a bit like I guess detract from the enjoyment of this. Anyways, but yeah, now I'm just rambling as usual. So yeah, highly recommended. If you like any kind when nature attacks books, very much worth getting. So I guess next time I see all you guys is when I review the next Paperback from Hell book. So until then, take care, and until next time.